What's up guys, it's Ryantium here, and today we are once again back in Stellaris Console Edition taking a look at the Model 16 Eradicators. So we've looked at these before in previous videos about the Machine Empire traits, the Civics, everything like that, but today we're going to break down Determined Exterminator, because that is what the Model 16 Eradicators Empire that I've created is best for. So without further ado, let's check out what Determined Exterminators are. Well, Determined Exterminators are born in fire. The machine intelligence's first move was to annihilate its organic creators in self-defense. Determined Exterminators is practically the Terminator. If you ever wanted to roleplay as the Terminator, here you go. So what exactly does it do? Well, your effects. You start not on a tropical world, not on a continental world. No, you start on a nuked to hell tomb world. You cannot engage in diplomacy with organic species, which means you can't form commercial pacts, you can't form research agreements, you cannot form, federations, anything like that. It's not a thing. You can also not access the galactic market. Now, what it means by that is you can't be nominated to have the galactic market in your home system. You can still buy and sell your minerals, your alloys, your food, your energy, everything like that on the market, but the galactic market is what you cannot tap into. But then we get to the best part, and one of the most unique things about the Determined Exterminator, and that is the Purification Casus Belli on all organic species. So the Purification Casus Belli allows you to declare war on any organic empire without needing to claim their systems. And the cool thing about that is when you destroy a starbase or you raid a planet, all of it becomes yours instantly. There's no waiting until after the war to divvy out, who gained this star system and who gained this planet, everything like that. No, it automatically goes into your roster of starbases as well as planets and colonies, and it's now yours. But keep in mind, when you go to war with the Purification Casus Belli, the people that you're fighting also have the end threat Casus Belli against you, and if you were to surrender, you would immediately be wiped off the face of the galaxy instantly. So it's a good idea to make sure that you are actually powerful enough to take on this entire empire, or a federation, or a couple empires together before you declare war on them, even if you have the Purification Casus Belli. Now, whenever you take over a planet from an organic pop, you begin to purge them, and that's an automatic thing that that is actually already set for you as a Determined Exterminator in your species rights. So when you're purging pops, you'll gain unity from those pops. Now, it's kind of nice because as a robot empire, you don't really get a whole lot of unity from other things except for rogue servitors, because they've got the things that produce unity. But when you can get a whole bunch of unity from, the organic pops that you're purging, you're going to start blowing through traditions left and right, getting yourself more ascension perks and getting yourself more powerful and more powerful. It's very, very nice. But one of my favorite parts about the Determined Exterminator is the Bombardment Stance Armageddon. If you've ever wanted to turn every planet that you come across without purging the pops into a tomb world, this is the way to do it, because now you can bombard planets to the point where they are tomb worlds. Exterminatus, anyone? I think so. Then we've got the ship weapons damage are increased by 25%. That is a big chunk of weapon damage right off the bat, which is why it's great and why it's very useful to be able to have that, because then you can expand a lot faster through war. Your starbase influence cost is decreased by a whopping 30%. That's insane, especially considering the fact that there are early game techs and traditions that make it even cheaper, which means you're not going to be spending a whole lot of influence on expanding, and you don't even need to expand aggressively as far as purging and invading things, if you find yourself in a lucky start. Then the last two things we've got are ship cost and naval capacity. Ship cost is reduced by 15%, and naval capacity is increased by 33%, which means your fleets can start off bigger, cost less, and do more damage. What's not to love about that? So that's everything about the Civic itself, but what we're going to do right now is we're going to take a look at a few different saves that I have from different points in time with the Model 16 Eradicators that I have within my galaxy. So here we are in my galaxy. I believe this is either a medium or a large galaxy. I can't exactly remember, but here we are in the year 2205, and we're that tiny little empire right there. We've only got 3 systems under our control, a total of 2 planets, and our total empire sprawl is 20 out of 30. Our economy is looking okay for being 5 years into the game, mainly because we are a machine intelligence, and we've got a whole bunch of different things that we can do. We don't produce food, we don't produce consumer goods, and you can see that we currently have 2 planets in here. Now keep in mind, whenever I play Stellaris, I tend to play with a lot more habitable planets around you, because it makes for a much more fun and immersive experience when you can finally begin to really unlock large economies. You don't need to play it with times 5 habitable worlds, but 2.5 to 3 is always a lot more fun for me anyways. So this is 2205. There's not a whole lot going on right now. Our fleet is not the craziest. It's only got 129. We start with our original 3 corvettes, and nothing's too crazy about that. But let's fast forward probably about 30 years into the future, 30 to 40 years into the future. So here we are 27 years into the future with the Model 16 Eradicators, and we've made first contact. Now, as you can see, we've expanded quite a bit in the first 27 years of the game, and we are looking pretty good as far as the amount of planets that we own. We currently own 8 planets, 23 systems, and have a total empire sprawl of 87 out of 90, which is great. We're still under our empire sprawl. Even for an aggressive species like this, it's great, but don't get comfortable with that, because that's going to change very soon. So our planets are looking much better, and this is actually the save that I titled Pre-War 1. So we're only 32 years into the game, and we're already going to go to war to conquer the Skrek Eradicators, which are a fanatical purifier race of reptiles. Wonderful! At least I think those are reptiles. Yeah, they look pretty reptilian. Oh no, they're arthropods! I can read. So, let's take a look at my fleet. So the fleet right now, we totally have a 2,043 power fleet with destroyers and corvettes in the year 2232. 177 transport troops, and as you can see, they are inferior to us, which means they're not pathetic, but they are still weaker than us, so it won't be too difficult to eradicate them and exterminate them. So let's fast forward another time, and we'll see how far we are this time. So, a measly 14 years later, and here we are in 2246, after our first war. In fact, we're still in the war, but that tiny little red dot are the Skrek Eradicators. That's all that's left of the Eradicators that we went to war with, and you can see we're bombarding them with the Armageddon stance, but because my war exhaustion is getting fairly high, my troops are about to land there. But as you can see, we're already beginning on our secondary fleet. And if we come into here, we've got another fleet right here, 2408, which is wonderful because we just actually made first contact with another empire who are already pathetic to us. So the Quentai Star Kingdom. The Quentai Star Kingdom are pacifistic, fanatic, spiritualistic humanoids up to the north of our current empire space. And like I said, we're 46 years into this game. Economy is looking really nice. We have a lovely stockpile of 17,000 minerals with a good energy income. Alloys are looking great for this time. Research could be better, but you can already tell that we went over our empire sprawl and our admin cap pretty early on, and that's okay. That's to kind of show you that it's going to happen. 12 worlds, considering that we took 4 of their worlds and there were a lot more worlds within our space. It's a nice thing to see that we're only 46 years into this, and you can see how aggressive a determined exterminator playthrough needs to be in order to survive. Because if we take a look at my energy income, by the year 2246, I'm actually already making 700 energy, but I'm consuming 600 of that for all of that stuff. Now keep in mind, my fleet cap hasn't been reached, my starbase cap hasn't been reached. It's because of our ships and our pops. That's pretty much where most of that comes from, and then obviously the stations, because at this point, we didn't really have a whole lot into prosperity, or actually we were almost done with prosperity. So yeah, but let's fast forward a couple more times, and we'll see where we're at then. Okay, and here we are in the year 2298. Now this is 2 years before 2300 ticks over, and you can see we have expanded very aggressively. Up here, you can see that we're creating 2,000 research, we've got 535 unity income, 6 influence, we've got strategic resources out the butt, alloys are looking great. We have these because of a couple of the empires that we've purged. We've got a plus 932 mineral income, and technically making 4,000 energy a month, but only really making 989 because our fleets have grown to be quite large in the small amount of time that is 100 years on this grand scale of everything. You can see we've got a 29k fleet, a 55k fleet, a 26k fleet, and a 50k fleet right there. We are only 100 years into the game, and we've already exterminated the Quentai Kingdom and the Skrek Eradicators, but now we've made first contact with a couple of other empires. In fact, it's starting to get filled out with more and more people. So here we are, we've got the Wakiji Star Regime, we've got the Krikthakin, are Krithakan Enlightened Kingdom, the Kingdom of Yondarim, and the Avarian Holy Foundation. You can see that they are all pathetic to me within 100 years, which is great. That's a lovely thing to have. We have 29 worlds under our belt, both through expansion regularly, as well as extermination and invasion. And it just goes to show you that it's a very intense way of playing. You know, when you have this much going on, and you can expand to every single planet that you see, not to mention we got the Cyberx one too, when you can expand to every single planet that you can see, it gets scary sometimes, because when you're expanding to all of these planets and you're developing them, you're fleshing out your economy, it can be very fast-paced and very aggressive, which is why the Determined Exterminator is actually one of my favorites to play, because you don't have to worry about food, consumer goods, or habitability. Happiness, sure, you have to worry about that as well, but you also have access to everything else that an organic empire has, but even more powerful. So let's take a look at my last version of this save that I currently have right now, and you can say goodbye to the Wakiji Star regime down here, as well as the Krithakan Enlightened Kingdom, because those guys are going bye-bye. And here we are 153 years into the future, and the Model 16 Eradicators have pretty much done their job, eradication of the galaxy. Now granted, you've got the Kingdom of Yondarim, the Holy Foundation down there, and these guys up here, the Spyran Protectors, but this is a Spiritualist Fallen Empire, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's the Fallen Empire. But what's funny is there was actually a Fallen Empire right here too, but we took that from them, and now we have the Font of Knowledge, which is the Ecumenopolis. One of the only ways to get that is either through taking it from the Materialist Fallen Empire, or finding the First League precursor home. But you can see, 150 years into the game, the economy is massive, because we are on 42 individual planets. We've got habitats, we've got ring worlds, we've got all sorts of different sized colonies. And the best part about it is, because you're so rich if you've balanced your economy correctly, you can afford to turn all of those lovely little colonies into machine worlds, and that's what all those worlds that are blue look like. Now you can see we've got a massive problem with unemployment and open jobs, because we're currently being assembled very fucking quickly on all of our planets. So having to manage 42 worlds by themselves is a little bit scary. Having to manage all 42 worlds with almost 3,000 pops, that's also kind of scary. But you can really start to see how a Determined Exterminator is, like I said, a very aggressive playstyle, but one that rewards you for being aggressive. You know, if you want to turn the difficulty up, go for it. If you want to turn the endgame crisis up to ×5, go for it. You know, because the models, the Eradicators and the Exterminators, they will be able to handle it. As you can see, our fleets, we're a little bit over our fleet cap. In fact, we're paying 10% more, if I'm not mistaken. 10% more? Yeah, 10% more for our ships, yet we're still creating 4,000 energy a month. We're technically producing 13,000 a month, but, you know, upkeep and all that stuff. But you can see we've got all sorts of ships down here, several hundred thousands worth of fleet power, and we crush fallen empires. They are nothing compared to us, and the reason I can see everything right now is because we were able to, with our economy, to build megastructures. Like I said, we have almost all of the stuff done with Cyberx Alpha. In this system, we've got a partial Dyson sphere done. In a couple of other systems, we've got a couple other megastructures. We have gateways all around. We've got sentry arrays. It's a very fun way to get powerful very quickly. So I really hope that kind of breaks down a few things, how to progress with a Determined Exterminator. If you have any questions about Determined Exterminators, please leave them down there in the comment section. And if you're looking forward to the for the Rogue Servitors and the Driven Assimilators, those will also have videos on their own. I just need to get the playthroughs going for them, that way I have something to show you like this. But until the next video, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.